to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Mountain Nostalgic Runner, and we are back for another episode of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is season 15. This episode 5 is called Not Feeling the Healing, and I was not feeling this episode. Honestly, I'm not feeling the season so far, so I don't know. And I know I've been saying it past couple of videos. I don't know if I'm going to be reviewing the season because I am bored. I am so bored. So we're just gonna talk. This is not gonna be like a normal review. It's gonna be us just talking, okay? Because I'm just like, I'm kind of bored to tears, and I'm like, what is it that I'm looking at? But by the way, welcome back to my channel. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. I'm recording this, and you know what? At this point, I don't even care what's happening here. I want to try to make this do what it do. Hold on, let's make it do. I think I got it. Hold on. Uno momento. We're keeping it all in. Yeah, we're trying to keep it all in. I don't even know what's happening right now at this point. Stay. We'll see if this light stays. I might need to get a new light because this just keeps going in and out. And I'm sorry, that feels like I have something in my eye too. There's a lot going on. So before we get into the episode, because otherwise I feel like this is going to be really, really short. Or, you know, us just talking about the show so far. Let me tell you how things have been going. Hello. So this has been a long weekend. So for those who live in the United States, this is Martin Luther King's birthday. So we're off. A lot of us are off on Monday. Well, I'm one of those people. And I also decided I'm going to take tomorrow off, which is Tuesday. So I'm going to have Monday and Tuesday off. And Whisper will be coming in here shortly. So if the light goes out, that was why. I didn't want to let y'all know that was going to happen, but we're just gonna soldier through because honestly, I don't feel like doing this more than I need to. I think I have something I could do. Hold on, I'm going to make this work. I'm gonna make this really work. Ah! I think I figured it out. I think we're good now. Okay, sorry. Keeping it all in though. So yeah, it was a long weekend. So I actually was out of town from like Friday all the way till yesterday, which was Sunday, and then watched the Bears playoff game because, you know, go Bears. And yeah, they lost, and it was a bad loss. And then today it was negative double digits. It was like, so the temperature was like, I don't know, 4 degrees, but it felt like negative 22 or something like that. And so I canceled any plans I had today. It just didn't happen. So everything's happening tomorrow now. So that's kind of what's been going on. So I just use it as an excuse to get caught up, clean around the house, do some cooking and whatnot. But that's a little bit of what's going on. And yes, I got the space buns going on. For those who've been on my channel, a lot of people who know me, they know I love the space buns. I always forget that that's what they're called, but like this is like kind of one of my default hairstyles. It's just easy for me, so I like it. And also when I run, it's easier to have this hairstyle than anything else. So anyway, but let's get into the episode. Let's just talk. I'm going to talk about each of the women on the show, and then we're going to wrap it up. So, and I'm going to add in the extra element. So let's first talk about this cast trip to Sedona. Is Sun Brown low budget? The reason why I'm asking, now, I'm not trying to come off like a snob, but for those who know me, and y'all have seen me actually do this trip before, I think, on my vlog, like when I blog, I've been to Sedona like 5 or 6 times. Like that is like a normal spot for me. I go to Sedona like a lot. And everything that these ladies were doing was something I could have done. And this is Beverly Hills we're talking about. So what in the poor budget was this? And then the fact that their dinner that they had in this episode was at the airport. And Sun in her confessional was trying to say like, oh, it's scenic and beautiful. A lot of the restaurants in Sedona are beautiful. Like, actually, I forgot the name of the restaurant in Sedona, but there's another restaurant they could have went to that's actually a lot more prettier than where they're at. And you're like kind of up on a hill and you get to see the vibes of all that. But I will give her grace. Maybe they have some strict laws when it comes to filming in Sedona, just because I can't. It's because Sedona ain't really a big area. It's not a big area at all. Like, for example, the place that the next day when we saw some of the women going shopping, they weren't in Sedona anymore. They're in this ghost town called Jerome, which is not that far from, well, I think it was technically a ghost town. I forgot. It's not far from Sedona. But Sedona and like West Sedona, they're usually when people say Sedona, they're talking about West Sedona and Sedona together. But those are two different like cities. But they're like right next to each other. But they also include all the other little areas that are close by. And Jerome's one of those areas, but that's like another town. Because really it's just like a town. That a lot of like former kind of hippie Californians end up like going to. And Arizona, for those who don't know, that's where a lot of ex-Chicagoans end up retiring at. Phoenix and all that area. So that's kind of the other reason why I'm very familiar with that area. And honestly, everything that they did on this trip I've done before. So I mean, I didn't buy like expensive jewelry, but I've been to all the places they were at. So for me, it's not impressive because it's like something that I can do. Like, I feel like most of us watch this particular franchise for the unattainable. So immediately, I'm just kind of like, womp, 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 when it comes to this trip. And a lot of the ladies are even kind of airing that out in their confessionals, including like Erica, Rachel. A lot of the women are not feeling this trip.
Child. So one more thing I wanted to call out. Why are they on this trip to Sedona like outside the winter months? That's one of the other things that I would say about this trip that was a major mistake, because I'm trying to remember when they filmed. Their reunion was back. I'll have to look back to see when the reunion was. I think it was back like in, I want to say April is when they filmed their reunion, or maybe like even like March. But like, I think April, but I don't, they filmed shortly after that. And I think they filmed like in the summer months. So to me, that's kind of weird that they would decide to do this trip. Like, they're not in Sedona in the winter. That part is very obvious. And that's the part that I'm not understanding. Why would they do this trip? So when they were doing the hiking, they were like, it was like 110 degrees outside. And I'm just like, why? Who thought this trip was a good idea? I guess I'm just kind of, that was the other thing that kind of got on my nerves about watching this trip, honestly. And maybe I'll be honest with you, I think I have a bias when it comes to this because of how I feel about Sedona as a whole. So I probably would not be the best person to review how I feel about the trip because of that alone. But I just kind of wanted to call that out as well.
Giving what it could be giving. I feel like Kyle was making the best out of it, and Jeff Tilly was trying to make the best out of it, but it just wasn't. It doesn't fit the aesthetics of a Beverly Hills. I honestly would expect this kind of a trip from really like a Salt Lake City, and probably like Jen Shaw era of like Salt Lake City, because it couldn't go anywhere outside the country. But that's kind of my thoughts when it comes to the trip as a whole. I'm just kind of like, this wasn't it. This is just, and I guess the best way to describe this season so far, even what's going on between Amanda and Sutton, is very unseasoned chicken. Considering the fact that they started kind of an argument based off of chicken, it's giving unseasoned chicken. Yeah, so I'll bring up the other people and what's going on, and then we're gonna wrap this up. I feel like at tops is gonna be 20-minute video. So one of the things that's talked about in this episode is Dorit, and she ends up talking to Rachel and Bose about how she feels about Kyle still, because there's still lingering issues with Kyle and Dorit, because Kyle is not a girl's girl and is totally taking PK's side. And I guess for me, I don't understand why Dorit is expecting anything different from Kyle at this point. She's shown you who she is. Let it go. But we're still talking about it like a season later. I feel like, oh, and that's the other thing. A lot of what we're talking about is just regurgitated issues. So it's just kind of like, meh, I don't care. You know what I mean? And then with Kyle talks to Erica about it. And it's clear that Erica's definitely on Kyle's side when it comes to a lot of this stuff. But Erica really was trying to give her guidance. It's just like, I know that's what, Dorit wants to talk about, but maybe you should just leave that alone because, and honestly too, I think I would respect Kyle more if she just basically said, I can't do anything other than be neutral but she's not really being neutral. But I feel like Kyle just needs to tell the truth about it and stop, kind of trying to, it's giving she's trying to pretend to have Dorit's back, but she doesn't really have Dorit's back. She's going by whatever Mo tells her. That's really what it is. She's going by what Mo is telling her. It's not that she, and honestly, this will get nipped in the butt so much quicker if really that's what she would say. I don't think she's going by necessarily what PK is telling Mo. It's more or less whatever Mo is telling her, that's what she's going with. And also too, let's face it, Kyle cannot relate to a contingent separation because clearly Mo and Kyle, their separation is very amicable. Like, they clearly still have love for each other. So it's not the same. So Kyle can't really relate. And Kyle, to me, comes off as a person, if she can't relate, it's just going to be lost on her. And Dorit is expecting Kyle to be a girl's girl, and she's not. So that's kind of what we got there. So that's pretty much it with the Kyle and Dorit of it all. And then Erica's kind of just, there's a soundboard for Kyle, and then in turn we have Dorit with the soundboard of Rachel and Bose. And that's kind of what we have there. Bose, during this whole entire trip, she's suffering because she's doing she's in the middle of doing the in vitro or the IVF journey. So she's getting the shots and everything. So she is just less than herself. And so she's just kind of just there. And she's kind of just dragging. Her energy level isn't the best. And then her boyfriend Keely calls and kind of checks up on her, and that's kind of pretty much it for Bose. Rachel's trying to be neutral and trying to be friendly with everyone. But I will say this, because let's switch over to Amanda. Amanda's insufferable. And I think the other issue with this show is no one on this show is really likable. Like, I don't really like Dorit, but I also don't really hate Dorit. I'm just kind of indifferent. Same thing with Kyle. I feel like with most of the women, I'm just indifferent, which isn't really good for a reality show. You need to have some type of emotion. But with a lot of these women, I don't care. And with Sutton, I just really want her to leave because she's being so fake. And the fakery is continuing this episode until we see the old her coming back out. And that's why it's giving away that what she's trying to do here is very fake, because the old her, she can't help but for the old her to come back out. The mommy dearest in her, the rhobh in her. And so we'll get into Sutton a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of the other thing that's kind of going on with this episode. Amanda's annoying. She likes to talk about herself a lot. She has this aura of self-importance. It's really annoying. And she's very obnoxious. And she's decided this episode, which honestly I don't blame her, because I think she needed to kind of get her lick back from last week, because Sutton kind of snapped at her last week. And I think Amanda's like, okay, I got you. And so they're going back and forth, the Sutton and Amanda of it all. Because Amanda, this episode, brought up that she knows someone who knows Avi, and kind of was like, and I guess Avi was being messy, according to Amanda, and said, what will make Sutton really mad is if you hire me, and, and I will tell you who the real Sutton is. But the thing is, that doesn't really land as much as I would like it to land. Because we all know, anyone who's been watching the show, we know that this is not the real Sutton. We've seen the show. So it's kind of it's landing flat. And also, too, it still feels like it's coming out of nowhere. And so that's the other thing. And also, too, it would probably feel differently if Amanda was likable, but I don't find Amanda likable. So I'm kind of just like, I don't care. You know what I mean? But I love that in this episode, though, when they did go back and forth finally at the dinner, Amanda just with this most straightest face, she was like, "Do you cry often, Sudden?" Just like, that did get me. Because she kind of called her out and passively aggressively called her out with using like the white women tears, because she kind of did do that because Sudden gets flustered and stuff. And also, too, Sudden snapped at Jim Fertilli this episode again. But yeah, no, Sudden's not likable. I'm over Sudden. I'm over this behavior. I'm over her. She's not likable. She's definitely rhobh. Like, as much as everyone last season we were talking about rhobh and how we didn't like her, we saw really that was a real Sudden. Rhobh and Sudden are the same person. No self-awareness, rude as hell, horrible towards her friends, her real friends. And Jim Fertilli, I really hope you don't choose to be a punching bag for Sudden all season and justice for Jim Fertilli, because I really don't want to watch that, because it's giving Garcelle 2.0. And I love in this episode, Jim Fertilli did say this is probably how Garcelle felt. It's all about Sudden, which, yeah, we see it. Us as the viewers, we see it. And so, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, is that. And all the women are pretty much trying to pretend they have Sudden's back. And I think they're doing it because they have to. I think the producers had a conversation with them and said, hey, Sudden needs friends this season. And so this is what we're watching. None of these women really like Sudden. But I feel like the difference is they respect Sudden because she's at least an OG. They really don't like Amanda. And I kind of get why, because she is annoying. She is very annoying. But it's hard for anyone. I feel like if you're watching this show, it's hard to really care about that, because it's just like none of these women are likable, so I don't care. So I'm not invested. But yeah, that's kind of really what happened this episode. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but not a lot really happened. Some of the women went on a hike. They went shopping a couple of times, but the place they went shopping at are places that I've been shopping at before in Sedona, because it's not like an expensive place to go to. It's like Sedona is just a normal, regular place to go to. It's amazing. And honestly, I feel like Sedona just honestly isn't a place to go to if you're not going to take advantage of the spirituality of the place. You can't really be superficial in a Sedona, and that's what I feel like they're trying to give us, and I just wasn't feeling it. I don't like that. And maybe I feel differently about it because Sedona has a very special place in my heart. So I'm just really annoyed by how they handled this whole entire trip. Because I was just like, they just made this horrible. Like, if I was a viewer and I'd never been to Sedona and I'm watching this show, I would never go to Sedona. Because it was giving snooze fest. But I know what Sedona really is about. And it's actually a beautiful, amazing place. So I just kind of was annoyed. But yeah, to me, that was pretty much it. That was the episode. I think, Kathy has been there on the trip, but she's kind of in and out this episode, doing her own thing. Rachel's just there. I don't know. This isn't good. This is not a good season. I'm just going to call it out. It's not a good season so far. But anyway, that does conclude my review. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.